Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are here to check out the Marvel Studios special presentation thing called Werewolf by Night. This was among the few kind of trailers we got for D23 and everything, among like Secret Invasion and Secret Invasion is the one I can remember off the top of my head right now. I'm sure we got some others. Yeah, we had others. Okay, we had others. Don't ask me to remember them right now off the top of my head because my brain doesn't like it when you do that. So yeah, but Werewolf by Night was one of the things we got, and this is something very new from them. I think this isn't. I think that this hasn't specifically been promoted as like an actual movie or like a series or anything. It's just like a Marvel Studios special presentation and everything. But the trailer alone actually did show off like an interesting premise, and it looked promising too. Looked like something really kind of fresh and really kind of unique out of their kind of vault and everything. So yeah, it's directed by Michael Giacchino as well. I think he usually does music. To my knowledge, anyway. I don't know if he's had any other directorial kind of credits, but I think he usually does music. He's done the kind of Spider-Man theme for all the Spider-Man movies in the MCU as well, and I think he's done like a few good other movies as well. So he's a pretty well-known kind of composer. But I think this is actually, I think this might just be his first kind of directorial kind of debut and everything. So yeah, Werewolf by Night. I think it's definitely not a character or a story from kind of Marvel comics that I'm actually familiar with or that I've even heard of or anything, let alone actually kind of read or anything. So yeah. Also, don't really know if this actually is like if this is actually based off like a series or character of the same name, or if it's going to be like an actual inspired thing based off of existing characters or something. But yeah, I think the kind of description kind of does state it's like a group of like monster hunters and everything coming together, gathering to bid farewell and to celebrate the passing of like their leader and stuff. But then unbeknownst to them, among them is an actual werewolf and everything. So they have to both survive the night and also being hunters themselves. I think probably take the opportunity to collect the monster's kind of head as like a relic or whatever. So sounds like an interesting premise based off that alone. And the actual trailer itself was actually kind of really kind of well edited, and it kind of did pass it off as like an actual kind of like a like a homage to kind of 80s and 90s kind of horror movies, like it being like all black and white and like having like film filters all over it and different kind of cuts here and there, and it just kind of being like a classic kind of black and white kind of horror film and everything. So I don't know exactly how horror it is going to be, like in terms of jump scares and actual thriller kind of type stuff, like because I think because we've had horror in Doctor Strange and everything in the Multiverse of Madness, but I think that in itself was like its own kind of unique kind of form of like kind of superhero horror. But with this one, it's like werewolves are very very classically kind of horror movie kind of monsters and everything, and who knows what other creatures they might throw into this just for the fun of it. Like if they're having werewolves, then they might have vampires or other kind of scary kind of creatures and stuff that we could recognize and everything. So that would be cool. Also, don't really kind of know if this is really kind of its own kind of standalone thing, because I think this is kind of so kind of unique by itself that like there's no really kind of no sign of like if it's meant to connect to anything else, or if it's meant to kind of reference anything else, or if it's meant to just kind of be its own thing on the timeline, or even be a part of its own timeline. Now with the multiverse being ever more kind of delved into and explored, I think this could easily kind of be happening on its own kind of in one corner and everything in the kind of MCU or the MCM, however you want to put it. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it either way. I think I'm a couple of days late, admittedly, but in those couple of days, as much as I have kind of stayed away from spoilers, I have heard people still kind of actually praising this and being like, dude, this is actually really good and it's really well made and it's like actually kind of like a really good kind of addition, canon or otherwise, to the MCU and everything. So I'm excited to check it out and see what it's all about. So yeah, don't really know what else to really say beforehand, so I guess without further ado, maybe just jump into it. So yeah, Werewolf by Night. Let's go. It would be cool if he actually did the music too, if he directed this and also did the music for it. Yeah, we just had like an actual kind of majority kind of level kind of over. Whoa! Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. I like that already. I like this already. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, really good scratch designs and yeah. Yeah, even the way the music, the orchestra. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Nice. Okay, I'm getting good vibes from this already.
The known universe, with its heroes and marvels.
Are they in another universe? Or
What of the
the
darkness?
known universe, yeah. So this is in the
our
MCU
modern
then?
world, this is where monsters dwell.
Ah.
Alongside those who hunt and slaughter them with pride. None more prolific
Bloodstone.
than the Bloodstone family.
It's gonna be like a mystery thing, to like a whodunit, but with a werewolf. Like a really kind of like a supernatural murder. I love this. Yeah. Are those TVA agents? They were in the trailer too, but it looks like they have pruning sticks. Are they TVA? God. I would not believe that that's not Big Wolf. But Big Wolf, Bigfoot. Bad Wolf, Bigfoot.
But him I fought a few
Whoa.
times.
Is that a vampire?
Alive.
Ooh, Laura Donnelly. Yeah, I think I did read she was in this. Yeah.
God knows the others won't like it.
Damn, she
How
looks
long can we
good.
expect you to stay?
Give me what's mine, I'll leave now. Bruce, so what I do with it after I've earned it will be none of your business. To be honest, that might be the best part.
I can tell I'm gonna like her. I can tell I'm gonna like
Oh,
Elsa.
never. Instead, you seem satisfied to emulate your mother.
Shame I didn't turn out.
Don't be too easy on yourself. You were the greatest disappointment of his life.
That's what you want to hear at his funeral, isn't it? Oh, she seems like a lovely lady. Ah, Elsa Bloodstone. Gonna be very nice to get to know her. Yeah, that's right. Make your presence known.
Thank you. A lover without equal.
Isn't she like an auntie or something? Isn't she the...
Taking possession of
That's
my
the Bloodstone. Is it in like a book or...
Good luck.
It looks like a book.
Through decades of absence, Elsa has long forsaken that birthright.
I mean, if she still gets it, they can't stop her, right? If she still manages to get it, then, you know, fair and square. You know?
Where's the lovely lady's medallion?
Have you checked up your own arse?
Elsa is welcome to join. And like the rest of you, no special treatment.
She doesn't need it. She's not gonna need it. I don't think we got Elsa's body count. I think everyone else actually said their body count, their kill count.
I'd say the stone was in place.
Ah, so they just put the bloodstone on the monster.
Off you go.
Well, I wonder maybe if the monster actually isn't a werewolf, but then the werewolf is the surprise. I mean, I think that's pretty much still what it's meant to be. So the monster is something else, but then they don't know the twist is yet that one of them is actually a werewolf, maybe. Yeah, and that would be a cool twist too. One of the hunters is a werewolf. Oh, it's a maze! It's a maze! It's a very uniquely designed maze. Yeah, like with stairs and upper floors and everything. Damn, you're meant to hunt a monster in this? Oh, I thought that was a monster for a second. You can do it, Elsa. I believe in you. I believe in you. Oh, just any Elsa.
I suggest we just pass each other by.
Whoa, Jesus! What are you doing? Oh. Oh, gosh. Oh, nice. Oh, good. I think, was that a scissor kick? I can't tell. Didn't go around the head. Went around the body. And she's got his axe. She's got his axe. Oh, damn. Well, I thought they said it made the bloodstone made the monster angry. I didn't think they meant the hunters too, because he seemed pretty pissed off. But then I don't know if that's just his general demeanor. Elsa with an axe though. Gotta love that. Ooh, oh, oh! What is that? The arm crossbow dart things? Oh, oh! Cut the hand off. Oh, she cut the arm off. Oh. Oh. So hunters are also free game to kill each other as well? Oh. 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 Yeah, oh, kill him using his own darts. Shoot him with his own darts. Oh. Through the mouth. Through the lower jaw. She's got some really good moves. She has some really neat moves. Oh, jeez. Oh, well, he's gonna find his axe. Oh, she has some really smooth moves, though. Yeah, well, she's really kind of acrobatic. Like those dodges to block the axe swinging as well. Nicely done. Oh, not so nicely done.
Hey, what's up?
What the hell is that?
Well, of course I was gonna come find you.
Is that the monster? What's this?
Well, you keep saying that you're gonna be careful each time, and here we go again. You can't keep counting on me to save you. Does it hurt?
The Bloodstone is in that, and that's the monster.
They said that the stone would do that.
Oh, it's weakening it. So he's in leagues with the monster then, and he's actually working on a way to help them both escape.
Came to get the stones. I wanted to be rid of my dad, my stepmother, all of this for good.
Oh, stepmother, not auntie. Okay, I was wrong. That's
Take a look.
stepmother.
Get the monster out of here alive. I can get you the stone.
Have a quick chat with him, sort it out. 'Cause you're what? The
He
monster's
literally
friend.
just did. He literally just did.
I can tell you my family was very different. But all families have something in common. For good, for bad, they stay like they become an atmosphere. Sometimes they're just a pain in the ass that we have to save all the time.
Is the monster his family?
When I was a kid, my dad used to tell me stories about my crazy Aunt Frances.
Whoa, spy.
She was positive that she'd come back from the dead at some point, and she knew. An exit
Keys.
strategy.
Ah, keys. Nice.
When you run into him, just
Be gentle.
call him by his name.
What's his name?
Ted. He's
Ted.
called Ted.
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 How do you...
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
No.
Oh, bollocks. Oh. How long do you have before it goes off? Can you make it to the wall in time? The monster's Ted? Remember, what is... It's called Ted. Fine. I can deal with that, but what is it, though? Like, what species, or... You know, what is it? Because I don't think I've ever seen that design before. Like, what is this thing? Oh, snippety snap. What's good, Ted? How you doing? Obviously you're hurting and everything. Bloodstone's weakening you. Yeah.
Ted,
Hello, Ted.
you have a lovely name,
Very.
and your friend is
Jack a
waiting
boy.
for you.
Jackie. Yeah, Jack. Ted. Who doesn't love a Ted? It's a very convenient bomb. It's literally... Oh god, that's just not... That's... It's not even beeping any faster. You'd think it would actually beep faster. Yeah, it just bounced off the wall and came right back. That would be a funny way to die. You just throw it and try and aim it for the thing. Put it in the crack! Put it in the crack! Put it in the... How is it not going off yet though? Is this even a real bomb? Like everything is like a dud or something. Okay, now faster beeping. There we go. That was a very convenient bomb. Oh, the Bloodstone. There we go. The Bloodstone. Oh, Ted's free. Go on, Ted. Live your life. Make good choices. Yeah. Ted roars. Ted roars. Oh gosh. Oh! Oh snap. Did it reject him?
A monster.
Oh, because he's a monster.
Masquerading as one of
Oh,
us.
because he's the werewolf.
Desecrating a sacred night.
Jack's the werewolf. Oh.
Well,
So monsters can't wield the Bloodstone. So yes, he's. I mean, that makes sense. He's friends with a monster because he is a monster himself. So he can, wonder if that helps for like special communication maybe. But then Elsa still talked to him.
I couldn't tell you, you know. It wasn't safe.
Oh, wait, did you think it might cloud my judgment a bit?
I know. I'm an idiot, I know. I would never hurt you or hurt anyone.
Can you control that?
Any hunting that I do is done by a part of me that is not me.
So the other side of you.
And that's not the part you're with right now. Because I lock myself in once a month, every full moon, and the next full moon is in 5 days.
They can keep you here for 5. I don't think they have anything
You
against
don't
keeping
get
you
it,
here
mate.
5 days.
Bloodstone's capable of transforming you in 5 seconds.
Oh shit. Okay, that's unideal.
Thanks in advance for making it quick.
That's very unideal. Oh, they're gonna behead him as a werewolf and put him up there.
For your help.
What are you doing?
Oh, getting her scent so he knows not to attack her, maybe?
And this is what?
I need to remember you.
Getting her scent
Does it
so
work?
he doesn't attack her. Yeah, if he gets her scent well enough,
I'm
then he
asking
doesn't
you,
attack her,
please.
maybe? Or
Please
restrains
don't do
from it,
this.
giving her time to escape.
I'm sorry, Elsa.
Species dedant, species concedant.
Come on, let them both survive, please. Please let Jack and Elsa survive. He's got her scent, so that should stop him from hurting her, right? Or maybe at least killing her. Can we see the transformation? I really want to see. I do kind of want to see the transformation. See how it looks. The color coming through, the actual Bloodstone color coming through the entire time, like the red, is really good too. Yeah. Oh, here it comes. Oh, here it comes. Oh, I kind of love that. I do love that. Yeah, the shadow shots. The shadow shots are very nice. Remember Elsa. Remember Elsa, Jack. Remember her. Oh, damn. A werewolf. Oh. You got too close. You got too close. Oh, he's escaped. He escaped at the top. Even the guy's got the little turning stick. Oh, that was a bet. Oh, I didn't even see him there. I didn't even see him there. That was a very good hiding spot. That was a very good hiding spot. Oh, the eyes! The eyes are glowing too. I love that. I love that. And he's still got the makeup and everything. Oh. Oh shit. Werewolves v men. A werewolf versus men. No, Elsa's good. You remember Elsa, right? Remember her scent and everything? You remember her? Oh. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh, he bit his ear off. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, slit the throat. Did the turning dude behind the casket. Oh, nice. This is gonna be like a one-shot hallway scene. A hallway one-shot without Daredevil. Can they make it work? Oh, I think they can. Oh, one-shot hallway. Oh, this is so well done. Oh, and even the music as well. Get that Bloodstone, someone get that Bloodstone. Oh, but the Bloodstone can weaken him. Now he's in monster form, the Bloodstone can weaken him. Yeah, nice. Oh, ooh. Oh, I just split her head open. Ah. Red is really, really fucking powerful. Oh yeah, okay. Jack. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Elsa. Remember Elsa. Remember Elsa. Please. Jack. Okay, I think he's still in there. I think he's still in there. Yeah.
A disgrace to your father's memory!
No, don't kill her now. Come on.
Hallowed Bloodstone name!
Oh! Oh, Ted! Ted's back! Ted's back! Way to go, Ted! Oh, damn. Way to go, Ted! Oh, Teddy to the rescue. I need to find out what he is.
That way.
Yeah. Ah, he wants to reunite with Jack. Yeah, that makes sense. I need to find out what he actually is. I need to Google this afterwards or something. The turning guy.
I only wanted to make myself available to you.
Brilliant, you can start clearing all this shit up.
All in a day's work then. Yeah, the bloodstone in her hands. She gonna keep it or destroy it? Whoa, oh, okay, oh, even it's colorizing her. It's colorizing the world, even. The chest, the background too. That's a nice touch. It's actually colorizing the world as a whole. Huh. Ted's just sitting there waiting. Oh, playing cards as well. Yeah, with some coffee. Ted drinks coffee. Yeah. He reminds me of Swamp Thing. I will say that. Yeah, he actually does remind me a bit of Swamp Thing from DC. Wait. So, I know there's a Man Thing in Marvel. I know there's a Man Thing. Is that what he is? Is that what this is? Because I think Man Thing and the Swamp Thing are like similarly designed as well. Is he Man Thing? And he can laugh too. Yeah.
I'm the one who comes to your rescue. What are you talking about? Whatever.
Jack and Ted. What a duo.
It's the sushi.
Sushi.
I owe you that.
Sushi. Oh, Ted likes sushi. Man Thing. Maybe he likes sushi. I can't believe I didn't think of that until now. I think it just occurred to me he actually reminds me of Swamp Thing. And then I was like, oh wait, Man Thing. Yeah. That's also a thing. The end. What a beautiful ending. What a lovely ending. I loved that. I absolutely fucking loved that. That was great. Is there like a post to this or post credit to this? Nope, I don't think so. Okay, I'm very quickly gonna Google, see if Man Thing actually is the one in this. Okay, so I've just looked it up, and it is Man Thing. The monster is Man Thing. Again, I can't believe how long it took me to actually realize that the designs alone are so similar too. But then it's like towards the end, I think maybe once I came into color, or maybe once we just had to maybe saw more of him, it just became more clear how. Because I think to begin with, I was thinking more about what kind of monster he actually might be in terms of just generally speaking, actually what kind of actual classic kind of supernatural kind of lore he might be inspired from. And I mean, obviously, there's quite a few cases where Marvel and Marvel has kind of characters that have come up after DC has created some some kind of Marvel comic characters are inspired by DC's and everything. So I don't know which one came first, out of Swamp Thing or Man Thing. Thinking back to it, I think I remember it pretty vividly too, because I didn't really react to it. But I didn't really react to it back then either. But then I think the comments in that kind of particular reaction actually said how could you not actually notice the reference to Man Thing? Because then back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think towards the end of season 1, Maria Hill made a reference towards Man Thing as well. And I think I might have clocked it back then, but then didn't really kind of elaborate on it too much because I didn't know what it was. So that was back then too. So I think even in the MCU, the Man Thing is the thing. And so yeah, Ted. I can't even, you know what, Ted. I mean, yeah, I think I don't even know like how much this differs from the actual kind of any kind of comic interpretation of Man Thing that there is, or how original of an adaptation this is. One of the things I don't know, like if like Man Thing is this kind of chill in the comics too, or if he's actually something completely different. But yeah, Ted, I think he has a name, he has a whole identity, he has very, very kind of personable and very kind of human kind of mannerisms, and like an actual personality about him too. So that's really cool. And he just wanted freedom. I think chances are with him being a monster, he was kidnapped by the Hunters, again kidnapped by the Bloodstone family, and then kind of used, because then the whole point was that they had to hunt the monster and get the Bloodstone in order to become the next leader and everything. So yes, I think Man Thing was the one that they presumably captured. I think the guards themselves actually didn't did not. I think they looked kind of TVA, but then I think there was no explicit giveaway that they were TVA. And I think that their sticks didn't really kind of do much besides from tase or anything. So most likely not TVA, just kind of guards and everything with like advanced kind of taser tech and stuff, or just like general kind of taser tech and like body armor and everything. Not that it helped them, you know. So yeah, so Ted, Man Thing, so that's cool. So I think without a doubt, people who would actually recognize Man Thing to design a bit more fluidly and fluently would undoubtedly recognize him right off the bat and be like, oh shit, it's Man Thing and everything. But yeah, with me, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? I've never seen this thing before in my life. And then by the very end, even then, my kind of knowledge of Swamp Thing is what then reminds me of Man Thing and stuff. So yeah, that's me. So yeah, but it was still cool to see him. It was still super cool to see Man Thing in this. And I think for what little time he was in this too, because I don't recall them showing him off. I don't recall them showing him off in the trailer. But then I think even then, I think in the trailer, like the main thing kind of promoted there was the actual werewolves, and that's what we were kind of expecting. So then already going in knowing that a werewolf is involved, that's what you'd expect. But then turns out that the actual werewolf is not only not the monster, but it's also not common knowledge. I think it's the imposter among them and everything. So Man Thing is also like an actual kind of genuine form in full monster form too. I'm not really sure Man Thing can actually transform into a man. He just stays as the thing that he is and everything. So yeah, and again, I think after having the Bloodstone taken out of him too, he was just surprisingly cool about it, and he was still kind of just, he even saved Elsa at the end too. He even saved Elsa and killed the evil stepmother and everything. Yeah, and then waited for Jack to wake up at the end and had like a deck of cards out and had some coffee running and stuff out in the woods, and they both planned a sushi kind of lunch and everything, or breakfast or whatever. I mean, probably not sushi for breakfast, but still, yeah. So Man Thing, that was a very good and very interesting kind of thing to add into this. And I think it being like an official monster character too, I feel like it definitely kind of can open up the door for a lot more to come and everything. So because I think Man Thing is also, I think even based on this too, I think he's cool and all. He's cool, he's chill, he's actually friendly, and he's like actually willing to help out and just kind of but he clearly kind of protects his own and everything. He protected Elsa and he protects Ted and everything too. Protects Jack and everything too. So I feel like just like that alone kind of shows that maybe he's not necessarily a hero, or maybe not even. I don't know if he would technically fall under anti-hero, but just like so long as you don't piss him off, you're good. If you befriend him, he'll protect you. If you piss him off, then he'll most likely just he burns. He actually burned the other hunter's skull, and he burned just the stepmother's kind of body as well. So I think I thought with him and his size and his presumable strength, he'd just pick you up and just tear you apart and stuff. But no, he just actually grabs you and then just incinerates you and everything. So that's a arguably cool power along with it too. So yeah, but I think it would be kind of cool to actually see him in the future, and especially if they are going to explore kind of Marvel monsters too, then he'd be like a very worthy kind of returning kind of face to have and stuff. So yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. And yeah, I think again, this definitely does seem like it actually opens up the kind of doorway to having more kind of monster content in the MCU, because I think I think monsters and monsters both as enemies and as actual kind of predominant kind of characters with their own stories are definitely kind of visible in the Marvel Comics kind of universe too. Like where we got Blade coming up, who's a half vampire and deals with vampires, and vampires have been mentioned before, and we have more. I mean, we do have Morbius, but whether or not that connects, whether or not they're going to do it with that, no one knows. I think people hope it does. I'm pretty sure people hope it doesn't after what they've seen and what's happened with the movie. But it's there. The movie exists. You can't really do anything about that unless it gets taken off of the digital market, as is what's happening with most movies nowadays. But it exists, it's out there, so you can't change that. But whether or not they connect, I mean, given its reception and given however good or bad the movie may be conceptually, I don't know if they would, or maybe they just redo it in their own way, like that's Sony's thing, so now we're gonna redo it once we get the rights back and everything. So there is Morbius, and everything. So, and vampires are a thing. So with Jack we have werewolves too. So that's cool. And Man Thing. So I mean, I think there's like the classic kind of monsters, the classic kind of monsters that can exist, as per kind of supernatural kind of classic kind of lore, like werewolves and vampires, probably ghosts. So I mean, we do have Ghost, who's not technically a ghost, but then is kind of scientifically a ghost and everything. So there's her. Zombies too. We have Marvel. We had the zombies episode in What If, and we had like Marvel zombies coming out soon as well, like its own kind of animated story series. So they are delving more and more into the actual kind of horror section of sci-fi and fantasy and that kind of stuff, and actually kind of showcasing that too. I think to me is currently arguably more interesting knowing that they're doing it in like an actual in like a universe so foundationally built on superheroes and superpowers too. Because then you think monsters in there, but then you wouldn't immediately think of like Marvel or the MCU or superheroes or anything, but then you think actual kind of like Dracula or Frankenstein or like the Wolfman or whatever. Like you think of those kind of cult classics and everything, but then you would never imagine that they would try or that they could. I mean, again, unless you knew the comics, unless you knew like the deeper comic history and you knew exactly what kind of characters they actually do have that they could tap into, then yeah. And again, I think this seems like a great opportunity and everything. And I think even as a movie too, I think this also wasn't really that long either as a movie. I think it felt quite long. I think it did feel like it felt like they actually did tell a good story in like a good amount of time too. I think it definitely kind of felt enjoyable that way, but it didn't feel like it was like a 2 or hour and a half long spectacle that served to tell anything it didn't really kind of need to tell, or could go beyond the scope of what it was trying to tell. It definitely kind of told like a very simplistic story, but then it still managed to kind of flesh out most of the characters, or all the necessary characters in that time too, and everything, So I think in that case, do more of these like actual special presentations that just tell like a clear, concise story, but they still give you kind of really compelling and really interesting characters and really cool monsters with really good effects and everything, is also like a really nice idea for it. So I think the effects. I think I did kind of hope to see the werewolf transformation. I did kind of hope to see it. So but then they did show it for a bit. I think they showed the claws coming out and the kind of the eyes kind of blowing out as well, like the actual pupils dilating as well. But then I think even in the trailer that they showed off the transformation as like shadow shots and everything, so that was arguably cool. I think that actually for it being in a horror movie too was actually arguably cooler and everything, so that was really cool. And even the actual the practicality of the werewolf too, because I think a common kind of complaint, and maybe arguably arguably kind of fairly so as well. Like I think common complaint is that like Marvel kind of uses like way too much kind of CGI with their characters, and like sometimes the kind of CGI kind of doesn't complement the design at all. So with this one, it definitely felt like they actually went practical with this. It felt like they went so much more practical with this, like with the hair and the claws and the teeth and everything, and actually kind of making it look like an actual kind of thing. It definitely did look more like an actual wolf man as opposed to a werewolf, which I think either one is fine by me. I think as long as it can actually get a pass for a werewolf, which this one definitely did. But I think this one looked arguably more like a wolf man and everything, but then the way they executed that too, like the way it moves, the way it kills, the way it kind of operates and everything kind of felt just really on point and really well done. So they really kind of actually pulled off like a believable and really kind of scary and really kind of working kind of werewolf. So props to them for that. Yeah, I mean, I think they probably need to do like a fair bit of CG for that too. I think because I think it looked good. I think because even in the moment, it's like for me, it's like I've never really kind of hyper focused on like on the fact that I can notice it. But if I notice it, then I then go, oh, that's CG, great, then move along and everything. So I never really kind of hyper focus or actually kind of stick around or like nitpick on the fact that it's CGI that I can notice, so then therefore it must automatically be bad or unfinished or whatever. So with Man Thing, it looked believable, it looked plausible, it looked fucking awesome as well, like the design and everything, and it was good enough like for it to then remind me of other and similar designs I've seen that are equally well done. So Yeah, I think the overall kind of aesthetic of this was actually really, really fun too. Like it being in the kind of environment it was, it having the kind of style that it did. Like I think it being black and white, kind of complementing its own kind of setting and its own kind of time. I mean, there's no guarantee of what kind of time it's set in, but then I don't know if that. I'm not actually sure that they actually mentioned like a time period. But then the Avengers were mentioned. The Avengers were actually mentioned like right at the very beginning. Actually, did mention they did kind of show off that painting of the Avengers, the artwork of the Avengers, and to talk about how those were the heroes in the forefront and the heroes actually aware and actually public to the world, but then in the shadows, actually behind the curtain, that the kind of area that no one really kind of knows about is actually where the darkness and the monsters and the dark forces kind of dwell and everything. So yeah, so I think I think that alone kind of does connect it maybe more to the mainstream. It does, but I think I mean I don't want to be too nitpicky on that, but then I feel like there's still kind of two possible choices there. Like maybe on the one hand, it could mean that it is actually set in the mainstream MCU, because then those are the old Avengers. Those are the old Avengers, and fair to say that's the only Avengers that even in the actual mainstream kind of present day stuff. Those are still the only Avengers we have. Those are the Avengers as the world knew them, so there's no new team yet. But then it could either be that it's the Avengers that we actually do know in the actual mainstream MCU, or it could still be the Avengers of like another universe. It's like a similar roster and stuff. So I don't know, but I think logic and kind of history would probably dictate that it is actually the kind of same kind of Avengers that we know from the actual movies, and the same team we're familiar with, because then it consisted of pretty much all of them. So I do love that 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 was the one connecting little tidbit. It was like 5 seconds of talking about the Avengers, and then moving over to Werewolf by Night and stuff, and moving over to the story they actually do want to tell and everything. So that was really cool. That was cool. It's definitely what I kind of loved with stuff like Moon Knight and Shang-Chi and Eternals and all those kind of things, whereas those were all kind of standalone projects that they didn't really kind of bother to connect to the other kind of movies or the other larger kind of Avengers kind of stuff too strongly. There were definitely kind of looser kind of connections regarding those things as well. So I think with this one especially, it definitely stood on its own. I loved at no point did I ever think, oh, the Avengers could come in and stop this in a second. And at no point was I hoping or expecting any other kind of heroes or any other characters I recognized to actually kind of come in and change the course of things. The entire time I was just worried about Jack and like a little bit about Ted, but mostly Jack and Elsa. I was hoping that Jack would survive, and then I was hoping that Elsa would survive, because I pretty much fucking fell in love with Elsa in this movie. So she is just great. She is great all around. So she is someone I want to see return. She's absolutely someone I want to see return. So yeah, anyway, back to the point. I think I did have a point at hand. So the monsters of the MCU. So yeah, I think this would definitely kind of open up the kind of gates to having that stuff, and then having those kind of characters and those kind of creatures in this as well. So yeah, I think that would also just be like a generally kind of cool corner of the actual Marvel universe to delve into, and like a darker corner as well. And I think it would make sense, but also be really kind of interesting to actually kind of see that Marvel's take on the monster universe and the kind of monster franchise would actually fare better than Universal's take on. Like Universal tried to do it with, I think, with the Mummy movie starring Tom Cruise and Sophia Boutella, and I think they might have done one other movie, but then they actually wanted to do like a whole universe. But then I think I don't know if it was because the movie tanked or because of something else, but then they wanted to make a whole monster universe with all these classic kind of monsters coming together and everything, but then it just didn't work out, and now it's gone nowhere. So it would make sense, knowing how Marvel is already good and skilled at actually kind of crafting its own universe and crafting its own franchise already. It would make sense, but it would also be kind of surprising knowing that even they can actually build a monster universe better and smoother than than they can. So yeah, we had the Bloodstone. The Bloodstone was the unique and very, very special relic featured in this. The Bloodstone, I think, is a relic that can control supernatural forces and everything. So that's the kind of the relic to have, and the kind of ultimate relic to be in charge of and to wield as a monster hunter. So I think it can control supernatural. So I think it controlled Ted. It controlled Man-Thing. It actually was actually implanted in Man-Thing's body and everything. So, and I think they did say it would make the monster angrier, but then I think we never really kind of saw Man-Thing actually killing anyone either. So I don't know if maybe that was a metaphor to actually kind of show off maybe Man-Thing resisting the Bloodstone's effects, or maybe them trying to show off that Man-Thing really kind of wasn't actually the kind of monster, like he was being controlled and actually being kind of held captive and tortured by the Bloodstone family and being used for their purposes. When he like Man Thing himself is actually like really like he's only a monster by appearance, but then by behavior and by personality, he's really cool and he just wants to play cards and hang out with Jack and stay safe with him and everything. But then for their more nefarious purposes, he's actually being kidnapped and taken captive and being implanted with his relic and being forced to kill people and stuff. So could have been that. And everything, because then the other thing we saw the Bloodstone also being used for was by the stepmother to actually kind of turn Jack into a werewolf and everything. So it can trigger monster transformations if there are any, and then it can actually go. I think maybe it did still. I think it did still approach. The other Scottish axe dude. I think it did still kill him. But so then maybe if it does attack, then maybe then that makes it kind of angrier and stuff. So that could be it. So yeah, I think maybe the Bloodstone is just generally works against monsters and for kind of humans and everything. So, and yeah, I think that thing at the end too, with Elsa actually being the new kind of owner of the Bloodstone too, and her I don't know if she was actually using it at the end, or if it was just kind of like adapting to new ownership and actually taking on, maybe if it's something that takes on the personality of the owner too. That would be like really interesting too. So then with her now holding it and actually having an ownership and they adapting to her, the world actually colorizes too, like the inside and the outside too. Like the inside, I thought for a second it would just be colorizing her, like maybe like the red in her jacket would shine, because then like she then was actually wearing like a red jacket, and then that really kind of shone through. But then her skin started to get kind of a bit more color, and then it started to look a bit less pale in the black and white and everything. But then like even the kind of chessboard on the coffee table, and then even the background and everything started to get more color, and then like it just showed the entire environment actually changing too. And then it actually cut to the outside, and voila, like daylight actually looks more kind of colorized, and the woods and everything just looks like colorized. So yeah, I think keeping that in mind too. So then I wonder maybe then like if like the Bloodstone is that kind of is that powerful a relic that like it does take on the actual personality of the wielder, and it actually does whatever it wants them to do, but then it amplifies what they want to do too. So then this is the stepmother used it like she fell in line very easily with Ulysses' kind of mindset and Ulysses' kind of way of hunting and his kind of passion for hunting and his belief in hunting monsters. So then she used it to actually bring out the monster, but then she also used it to try and push it down and to try and actually kind of weaken it too, because then the Bloodstone can be used to actually weaken monsters, because then that's what it was doing to Ted as well. So that's what it was doing to Man Thing. So it was actually weakening Ted, and like he still killed the hunter. So I don't know exactly, like I don't know if I think maybe weakening in terms of actually kind of like inflicting pain. Maybe it was actually kind of actually hurting Ted more and more over time. So that was it. But then maybe through that pain, that's what kind of aggravates it, and that's why it actually becomes angry, because then like the Bloodstone is actually hurting it. So then the more pain kind of like it inflicts, the kind of more pissed off that you would naturally get through pain too. So maybe that's why. And I think especially if they are going to be bringing more monsters into the universe too, so then actually kind of bringing back Elsa and Jack and Ted in some way in the future when they do start to delve more into monsters, maybe in like a similar fashion like the Bloodstone can be to the monster universe and the monster corner of the MCU that the Infinity Stones were to the rest of the MCU, like to all of material reality. The Bloodstone can be that kind of that powerful of a relic, and then like a relic that actually does kind of allow you to control behavior and control monsters and control kind of monster existence and behavior, and grant you that kind of power too. So there was also the case of the hunters attacking each other too, like the one guy with the actual kind of arm crossbow thing, like he attacked it, he opened the door and attacked Elsa out of nowhere, and the actual Scottish guy came through with the axe and started to attack both Jack and Elsa. So with that not being like disallowed, like there was no there was no warning that they couldn't attack each other, but then you'd think that that's something they would know, like, oh, like you're not meant to attack each other. But then all this really kind of meant to happen is that you're meant to try and survive. So I don't know, maybe as a hunter you should there's probably like a lesson from the other hunters of like, oh, you should be prepared for anything, and you should be expecting anything. So that way you'll be like a true successor for the Bloodstone too. And if you could even anticipate like your own kin or your own people attacking you out of nowhere, then that means you're prepared for anything or something. So, but then I think on the other hand, it also makes you want like maybe like if the Bloodstone also like has like a not like an indirectly kind of inflicted kind of effect, where it's like in like the power of the bloodstone, the importance of it, the kind of sacredness of it, like how important it is to monster hunting and to monsters and to that kind of world. Like maybe like that alone, like its existence and its importance and its kind of history alone is enough to make hunters kind of go mad with rage, or like actually kind of like it actually kind of pushes them to do whatever it takes to. And if like by that logic, if a hunter thinks that they have a better chance of actually catching the bloodstone if they take out another hunter, then they're gonna do that, and it actually kind of pushes them to maybe not be more rageful, but then actually pushes them to be willing to kill other hunters too, and actually willing to kill like their own kind as well. So to be fair, I think that this also gave us, I feel like the kind of briefest of glimpses at the bloodstone. I feel like the bloodstone is definitely like a relic they could bring in future kind of in future monster stories and monster movies and everything. So, or even monster series if they delve into those. So that is also something they can actually bring in. So I think then like by that, then actually kind of like even in other projects too, like without directly showcasing the bloodstone, but then just simply talking about it, simply referencing it, or simply talking about a relic or relics that can actually connect to it in some way, could actually show like just how far back the bloodstone goes, but then also how influential it is throughout the kind of monster kind of universe and everything, and then the kind of monster division of the MCU. So, and I think the maze itself was very uniquely designed too. I think for a second it did look like there were stairs and stuff like leading to kind of upper platforms, but I think we never really kind of had, I don't really think we ever actually saw them kind of use it. So could have been kind of broken stairs or just falsely designed stairs. But then even then, like the maze kind of area itself was still seemed kind of uniquely designed too. Like it did kind of seem like a tad, I think, I don't know if civilian might be the right word to use, but I think it did like seem like an actual civilianly kind of constructed, or this is like civilian kind of design area. Like it didn't really seem like a typical intimidating maze with like blank walls and tall walls, especially like something like the Maze Runner, or like an actual kind of like a hedge maze out of The Shining or something. I thought maybe that's the area they would go into, or maybe even actually sending them out into the forest. Maybe that could have been a good thing, but no, with this one actually like they had like a maze area and everything. So it was just a sort of cool environment, and it still had its own kind of traps, like its own kind of like trap kind of concepts too, like the room with the actual burial kind of coffins and everything. The door actually locks from the outside, so then you'd have to try and find a way to get in. And then Elsa knowing that like her aunt actually kept like keys inside her casket while she was buried, then that gives them their exit strategy. So yeah, that was still like a cool kind of concept, and like a cool kind of environment to actually have the entire kind of thing kind of go down in. So yeah. And yeah, then we met what might just be at least one of my kind of new favorite characters in Marvel and the MCU as well, Miss Elsa Bloodstone. So yeah, she's just right off the bat, I knew I was gonna love her. The kind of sass and the kind of almost like independence, and like the whole kind of like the distance from family that she's still kind of so keen on actually maintaining and everything. But then like her being like so kind of sure of herself, and so sure of actually like how she intends on this not kind of going down and everything. Just everything about her, and especially Laura Donnelly playing Laura Donnelly. I think I did she was in the trailer, so I think I might recognize her in the trailer, but then did actually read about her actually being in this. I think, yeah, Laura Donnelly, I think she's been in quite a few different projects kind of over the years. The one thing I vividly remember her from, because it was like a huge part of my childhood, she was Freya in Merlin. She was like a druid girl who actually fell in love with Merlin and everything, but she was in that, and she was great while she lasted. So yeah, seeing her in this now, all these years later, was pretty damn cool. And yeah, I think even in this, I think she just has like the loveliest and the best of kind of vibes about her too, and even her kind of being like she's an incredibly skilled fighter, and like physically skilled too. Like her movement is just so kind of acrobatic, and like the kind of moves that she can use to dodge and to actually kind of attack and everything, just like her using scissor kicks and stuff, and even actually kind of disarming the other dude, actually using his own kind of crossbow to like hand dart thing against him, actually getting like an arrow up the mouth. So I think the gore in this actually did surprise me ever so slightly, because I I don't know, maybe if they actually kind of got away with it because it was black and white, but if they did, then all the more reason to actually kind of show gore or like show kind of like more kind of so like a slightly more kind of gruesome kills where they can and where it would be applicable. So more power to them, absolutely. But the development of the dynamic between her and Jack too was just really kind of graceful and really kind of cool to watch too. Like her going from someone who is really only here for her business and she could really kind of care less about anyone else, but then slowly actually coming to know Jack and actually kind of coming to bond with him, and actually like for both of them kind of bonding together and actually making that deal, and then them two in the end actually they're definitely kind of still getting what they wanted to. Like he wanted to rescue Ted and get him to safety, and then he did, and then even Ted came in and actually they rescued him when he probably passed out from wolf form and everything, and then she still got the Bloodstone, so the deals kind of still went through. They still got what they wanted, but then there is of course nothing separating or preventing them from actually kind of meeting up again in the future to actually see how things are and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was never even actually expecting anything to really kind of happen between them. I figured, they're like at the very least that they're probably just going to remain like acquaintances or kind of very reluctant kind of hunter friends, or like a monster and a hunter friend. And they both have their own goals that they're pretty much kind of really kind of focused on, and but both have things they want to protect and preserve and everything. So for Elsa, it's the Bloodstone, and for Jack, it's Man Thing. So yeah, it worked. It really worked. And yeah, we did get a bit of her history too. So she is actually she was pretty estranged from like the kind of the majority of the Bloodstone family itself. I think she was separated from her father and stuff, and I think she probably did like maybe live with her mother, because then the stepmother's kind of judgment and criticism was that, oh, you actually turned out more like your mother and everything, so your father would be really disappointed in you. So yeah, so it was a stepmother. I think I don't know why I just kind of assumed like the stepmother would actually much rather be was actually more likely to be Ulysses' sister, and like she had like a very kind of evil kind of auntie, very judgmental auntie kind of vibes around her. So I just assumed, oh, she must be like an auntie who's actually left behind to do the rest of the judging on Ulysses' behalf. So no, she's actually the stepmother. So she turned out closer to her mother. So I think there was never any kind of clarification or kind of talk about exactly what her mother was. I thought maybe like her mother must have been like a hunter in some other regard, or maybe she must have been. I think my kind of guess would have been like, oh, maybe Elsa actually might be more in tune and more kind of capable and more worthy of wielding something like the Bloodstone, because I thought maybe that the Bloodstone is very clearly a magical relic. So then maybe Elsa turning out more like her mother might be best, because then maybe her mother could have been a witch or been like into witchcraft, maybe not like exactly like chaos magical, because the Bloodstone was actually red, and it did kind of glow in like a similar-ish kind of way to Wanda's powers, but then it being like a relic of its own existence and everything kind of pointed away from that stuff. So then I thought Elsa's mother easily could have been a witch, or like more into witchcraft than hunting. So maybe that kind of appraisal could have actually trained Elsa and actually made her more capable and actually more kind of built and more destined. Maybe like slightly more kind of destined, or maybe more suitable for ownership of the Bloodstone, actually usage of the Bloodstone too. Because then even then, like as soon as she gets ownership of it, actually like the world changes, it adapts to her, and it kind of brings more life into the world and brings more color and everything. So I think maybe then not only does it control things and control kind of the supernatural, but then it also kind of like it reflects the world based on the wielder's kind of personality and the wielder's power and everything. So Ulysses and his new wife actually kind of being much more kind of ruthless and very controlling and very oppressive kind of monster hunters too. The world reflected was really kind of black and white and really bleak and really kind of like just blah, just for like over time, just blah. But then as soon as Elsa gets to like someone who's undeniably actually kind of taught to maybe kind of because then she didn't even want to kill the monster. She never wanted to do any of the monster. I think she knew that her goal was the Bloodstone. So then she was like, she has no kind of she was willing to actually participate in any way they wanted. But then her actions actually kind of pointing towards monster hunting in order to win the true prize was never clearly kind of dictated or spelled out or anything. So then her goal was getting the Bloodstone, but then she never showed any interest in actually killing the monster or anything. So then self-defense, maybe she might kind of wound it or attack it with something in self-defense, and then flee or something, but then, or maybe if she is actually pushed to that result, then maybe she might kill, because then the other hunters were the only ones that ever came after her and everything, especially because Ted actually didn't want to kill anyone, so then I think he actively did avoid killing anyone who wasn't a direct threat, but then the axe dude actually did kind of run into him first and everything. So yeah, Elsa's goal was the Bloodstone, so then once she got that, then she actually told Jack about how she just wants to kind of fully cut off ties to Ulysses and to the rest of the Bloodstone family, and actually kind of put an end to that kind of history once and for all. So then I thought maybe then that might mean that she maybe kind of destroys the Bloodstone, or actually kind of puts it away forever, or actually kind of puts it up, either puts it somewhere no one can ever find it, and then that power can't ever be used again, or she might kind of destroy it and put an end to that for all. So there's no word on whether or not it can be destroyed, or if it actually kind of is kind of essential to the kind of supernatural kind of like lore, and then the supernatural kind of element in the world actually kind of living on and stuff. So no talk on exactly how powerful it is either. Like if it's powerful through connection to, like maybe it's connected to everything. So I don't know, but either way. But then she used it. I think. Well, she didn't use it, but then the Bloodstone did this to adapt to us, and maybe. That way she is actually allowing the world to now be reflected through her, which shows a bit more color and a bit more kind of positivity and vibrance, and because I think there was I think with her being distant from the other hunters too, and actually especially being distant from Jack too, I think that at least could have been the fact that, like, again, she was not there to socialize, and she definitely wasn't there to connect or anything. Like, she had one goal, was the only thing on her mind. So then because of that, she kind of didn't want to risk getting attached or getting connected to the other hunters, and I think even then, I think she didn't really kind of think the other hunters were really kind of people she wanted to know or anything. And even then, one of the hunters actually did ask, like, she's been estranged and she abandoned this family and this tradition for years, so why does she get to come back into this and she kind of play along with the rest of us and stuff. So she clearly wasn't liked by all of them, but then Jack was the only one actually willing to work with her because he was a monster too. So yeah, so with her now being the new owner, I think now it kind of does kind of leave her in that leadership position and everything. So yeah, so she owns the Bloodstone. I think no kind of telling exactly what she might do with it, but I think maybe then, because I think being a good fighter and being a monster hunter are two different things. So then maybe then if she can reunite with Jack and Ted afterwards, then maybe then they can go on some kind of quest to actually kind of free monsters and to kind of change the world or do something, or actually kind of like live lives of their own or something. So I don't know. The door is always open. So I guess we can see them again all in due time. So that'll be fun. And then yeah, Jack the werewolf. So it feels like the kind of logical assumption to make would be that he jumped in after his friend Ted, after Manthing was likely kidnapped and then taken captive and used in this kind of game for hunters and everything. So he kind of hit him knowing he can transform into a human, but then only when the full moon isn't kind of going to be present at night. Then he actually kind of poses a human to kind of get into this competition and everything. But then kind of feels like if if they did really want to be extra cautious, then maybe, because I mean, chances are they probably weren't expecting that a werewolf would be sneaky enough or stealthy enough to actually try and sneak in into the competition. So then, and especially like with the actual hunting thing actually being held conveniently held 5 days before a full moon, that would give him ample time to get in and actually hopefully get Ted out in time too. So then yeah, but no, I think that like he was allowed through, and then the only telltale sign of him actually being a monster was that like he was rejected by the Bloodstone. So kind of does make me wonder if maybe he didn't know that, like maybe he didn't actually fully know that the Bloodstone wouldn't reject him, or maybe that like it wouldn't react that way, because then if maybe the assumption is that the Bloodstone works for humans and against monsters, but only in the actual sense of control and stuff. So maybe like but then I think again it does make even more sense that the Bloodstone itself actually can't be wielded by a monster. So then that being the biggest giveaway, because then I thought maybe it being a thing like oh, he's not worthy because then you have to kill the monster, because then I mean, well, the goal is get the Bloodstone, but then the added kind of twist being that like the Bloodstone is actually implanted into the hide of an actual monster. So then logically you got to take down the monster and then claim the Bloodstone off of them. So maybe because then in any other case, I think I feel like that would just kind of be on ingenuity too. Like maybe then if you really don't want to waste time being kind of like having to kill a monster that doesn't need to be killed or anything, then maybe then you just do what Elsa did and actually going to use the hook thing to actually latch onto it and pull it off. So then because then that would be like, oh, you said get the bloodstone, you didn't say I have to kill the monster or it doesn't count. And then so then I think then I do wonder like maybe if, like how or why he wouldn't really kind of know that, because then if the bloodstone is designed to work against monsters, and maybe then surely you'd actually be warned about that, or you'd actually know about that through culture or through history or something. So then because I mean, werewolves are typically kind of made like through kind of passing on the infection through bites or scratches or whatever. So then maybe then he actually wasn't kind of raised like that. Maybe he actually did like he was attacked by a werewolf, and then the consequence of that was actually surviving, but then actually kind of having the curse of the werewolf passed down to him. So then he is maybe almost as new to this as any other monster, or maybe he actually just kind of hasn't been a monster. Maybe he's been a monster for long enough, but then maybe he actually hasn't actually studied the world of monsters and the actual kind of history of them, and then the kind of things that can actually kind of harm them all the way. So maybe you didn't know that, but either way, I think the Bloodstone actually kind of didn't really do him any favors, as it revealed he was a werewolf. So then he turned into the next kind of monster that they wanted to hunt and tease and torture and everything. So the actor for Jack did a terrific job. Actually portraying him as Jack and as Werewolf. I'm kind of hoping that it was actually good to be say. I mean, I think maybe for most of what you did, you might need a stunt double. For like the kind of that shot of the camera panning around the environment as they all kind of silently kind of like survey the room. For like to actually find out where he is too, like panning over, but then out of nowhere the camera pans back and he actually jumps off of like him actually jumping out of the shadows. Because then he actually passed over that originally anyway, but then it was actually the area was so kind of enshrouded in shadows and the whole black and white filter that you just never knew he was there, and he just jumps out as well. Like that shot was just that was just my masterpiece overall. So him as a werewolf, like the way he actually did worked as a werewolf too, I think they perfectly also illustrate the differences and the stark differences, especially between the human and the werewolf. Like when you're in human form, you know what's about to happen, but then you fight so hard to try and actually remember what you can. I think even in this case too, like him actively trying, like him once he finds out that the Bloodstone can actually kind of trigger it in 5 seconds, and that kind of power can be used to trigger it. Kind of does quick thinking, and then actually kind of just sniffs Elsa all over and everything to actually kind of keep hold of her scent and track her scent and everything, which it worked everything. But that scene as well was just like actually showed like how much he actually did still care about Elsa in the end, like her being the only kind of person actually not wanting to him and not wanting to kill him and everything, and then like their kind of bonding time earlier on in the movie and everything actually kind of working out like to the point where they both actually did manage to still work together and actually not kill each other did kind of serve its purpose and everything. So what that did more than anything was actually making me root for Elsa to survive even more, because that left me hoping that the actual scent tracking in the wolf Jack would actually work, and that he'd actually remember her, and then he'd be able to use that to actually not actually hurt her or kill her. I mean, I thought maybe at worst he might hurt her or wound her or something, but then maybe not kill her. So then maybe like the kind of the wolf in him might kind of overpower him, and then he'd be able to pull back on something. But no hurting whatsoever. He pinned her down, but then there's some like kind of very the shaking in her hand was just felt so accurate. When there was like her being absolutely terrified too, so I actually like trying to move in slow so to like not startle him, but then actually still wanted to kind of like tame him and make first contact and actually reassure him that like to actually check he's still in there too. That just worked. I think because I thought for a second, because I think he even actually did sniff her wrist, so I thought maybe he was just like actually moving her hand up to let him sniff her wrist again, but no, it was actually kind of reforging that connection and everything. So it worked then, and that scene as a whole paid off beautifully and stuff, with him actually walking away and then like escaping back out into the woods and everything. So it worked perfectly. So then she knew that at that point that the Jack was, and then even him checking in with Ted later on to actually see if he actually did hurt her or if it worked or anything, and then it's like, no, she's fine, I saved her, her evil stepmother died and everything, so it's all good, it's all fine. So yeah, Jack and Elsa were a dynamic duo in this as well. So we need the trio come back. So yeah, and I think there was the makeup stuff that, on his face, like the actual makeup markings. I think even the other hunter actually acknowledged actually like him being like, I don't really kind of care for sentiment or emotion or any of that kind of stuff, but then it's still cool that you actually kind of got that on your face and everything. So I do wonder, like, I think it stayed even when he transformed, it still stayed on his face. So I think So I mean, I guess maybe like because like the hair didn't grow all over his face, maybe they didn't cover it up or something, or maybe it just like because they think that part of like his kind of skin was still visible, so maybe that's why, or didn't kind of really kind of blend into his skin or anything, so maybe that's why. But then part of me also wonders like maybe like if that's like something. So this is something he kind of co-opted or kind of used to actually kind of blend in better as a hunter, because then the other hunters also did have like very kind of uniquely kind of identifying kind of apparel on them, or like other kind of makeup or other kind of like appearances about them. So maybe as a werewolf he's actually been hunted before, so maybe he actually kind of used stuff from other hunters that he's actually seen in action, that actually kind of took inspiration from their appearances or anything that was on their face or something. So could be, or actually could be maybe like an actual cultural thing. Maybe if they're like actual werewolf myths in other cultures that actually kind of depict them as such, then maybe he actually used that. So either way, it still looked cool. So, and of course they also gave us a hallway fight scene. They also gave us a beautiful and actually a one shot hallway fight scene. So they can do it without Daredevil. They even actually. I mean, I don't know how many people actually might find it to be as cool as Daredevil. Look at Daredevil's ones, because I think Daredevil did make the kind of hallway fight scenes kind of iconic in its own right and everything. But with this one, like putting a werewolf in his place actually arguably seems for me just as cool too. I think as soon as they entered the hallway, I was like, oh god, please let this be a hallway fight scene. And then as soon as the hallway fight scene started, I was like, please let this be a one shot. Everything I wanted from that fight scene, they granted me. So absolutely everything about that was amazing. Just him coming in and going out and just kind of just wrecking shit up, and just just tearing one guy's chest out and just slicing, and not just them not being afraid to actually kind of show a werewolf to be as savage and as gory and as violent as it is was everything I actually loved about this and everything. So that was really fun. That was really cool. Not to say the audio balancing or the audio control was bad, but then it was actually like at certain points it actually did seem kind of pretty kind of mixed in with like the kind of the screaming and the sound effects and the overall kind of ambience and everything. So I guess that might have been the point, that it's all overwhelming and a lot of stuff's going on and everything, and it's all very kind of kind of sudden and everything. So I think that kind of worked well. But then the music, when it was all kind of silent and sinister, and like the ambience of that, and like when they actually kind of needed attention too, it didn't really kind of seem like there were too many jump scares in this. But I think it did kind of it still seemed to actually kind of fit the whole kind of horror vibe and the horror kind of genre, like the whole kind of thriller aspect of it and everything. So and I think even in terms of like kind of horror and like the different kind of shots used and then the kind of shots constructed, and it's like the camera work in this was glorious. The camera work, like the hallway scene, the kind of environmental kind of scanning as well, like when the camera pans over the environment, actually showcasing different kind of shots of like characters like within frames and everything. Like the camera work in this was really well done. Like I think Michael Giacchino, I think he did great. He did just beyond great in this. I loved exactly how he actually wanted this made and how he wanted this executed and everything, and how he. And I think the black and white actually really worked well for this too, because I think I felt like I've heard black and white isn't as easy to actually recreate or even execute on like digitally as it is on film. I've heard that on film it actually kind of lasts longer and actually kind of stands out a lot better than like filters and stuff. Because I think with filters too, I think they can never like filters can't always be like 100% on point or 100% accurate. I think so. If you do with a filter, you have to really be careful to actually get it as close as you want, because then even then it won't be the best. So then not sure really kind of how they kind of filmed this or edited it, or like how kind of close to true black and white they actually kind of got this or anything. But then the way it still looks is great. I think even then it's like being streamed on digital too. So I think that could probably compress it, or that could probably kind of change it in ways that you probably wouldn't notice unless you're like an actual kind of unless you've kind of studied film or if you actually kind of worked with it before. So, but then even then, like the VFX worked really well. The VFX, like the actual kind of blending of the colors, like with the red coming from the bloodstone and everything, actually kind of blending in with the actual black and white, still worked really well, and it was still really nice to look at too. Actually seeing the color bleeding out and actually kind of working on its own, even within the majority of the actual rest of the frame and the rest of the environment being black and white and everything. So I think him actually making the choice to actually make this black and white too. I think because I felt like maybe mostly it might have been like an homage to the kind of classic horror movies and how they would have been made on film and in black and white. And I think I mean back then I think maybe it could be argued that that's the technology they had back then. But then even then I think it still kind of works for what they were going for, and they definitely kind of still made what they had work for them with all the power they had. So I think with this one, it's definitely then ironic that they're like it works so good and it looks so good back in those films that then you actually kind of do want to make it so that like even with today's technology you still want to go back to that and actually recreate what they had, because it's so nostalgic, it's so kind of valuable as like an actual kind of filmmaking kind of like a technique and everything. And for this story, for this setting, for the tone they're going for, it works great too, and it's something that people recognize and really kind of be able to identify as kind of what makes kind of the classic so good, and it fits with this so well. So yeah, I definitely kind of like I mean, they left this open ended, but then I don't know if they actually do want to make like an actual sequel or anything to it. But then if they did, I would not complain by any means. And also, Michael Giacchino should direct the sequel, because then he clearly also made it so that he actually knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do with it. He knows what kind of story he wants to tell and how he wants to do it. And I think this definitely does seem so much more like one of those projects where it's like, Kevin Feige helps produce it and he kind of does oversight to see how it runs and everything. But then he still gives the director and the crew and the cast and everything. Still gives them full control. He doesn't allow or even actually inflict too much of his own kind of input or too much of his own kind of creative kind of thing onto it. Like he wants to see he wanted to see how Michael Giacchino would do it, and he actually allowed him to have his own design and his own kind of fingerprint and blueprint over it and everything. So, and it worked. It really worked. I think this is kind of arguably why I like the kind of the projects within the MCU that have that much more kind of creative control from the directors themselves actually do look better and actually kind of work better and are actually easier and more enjoyable to consume and everything as stories and as kind of character pieces and everything. So with this one, it just works so much kind of better and actually kind of felt so much more enjoyable and so much more kind of immersive and more kind of engrossing to actually watch, because the entire time I was just kind of like it had my attention, it had my interest, it had everything, so I definitely want to see more projects like this. And I think this would also be like a really kind of great way to actually kind of introduce other kind of characters and actually kind of incorporate more kind of stories of this kind of similar kind of genre and tone into the universe and everything. So it just kind of works, and it's like a really kind of fun thing to watch too, because obviously there is a story to this, and there is a story to this, that there is lore to this, there is stuff to explore and theorize and actually kind of look into comics wise as well. But then even just as a movie, as like an actual kind of as like a presentation of its own, it's just really enjoyable to watch. It's just something you can it's something you can just easily relax with without having to worry about how it connects or how it kind of links. And this is so easily standalone too. You don't need to watch anything else. I think there's like a minor reference to the Avengers, but then even if you've only watched like a few MCU movies like handpicked here and there, you'd still know, okay, it's the Avengers they're talking about, and then it fully delves into Werewolf by Night. So just great, just huzzah. This is a bravo. Michael Giacchino, Michael Giacchino and everyone involved in this deserves a bravo for what they've done with this and how well they worked on this and everything. So yeah, nothing but high praise from me, and I can't wait to see. I definitely think that this kind of should grant him more opportunities to actually direct similar stuff, and maybe even to direct something to direct something related to this or something. So can't wait to see what more input he has and everything. And yeah, I think it's good to see him being able to branch out too. I think him being so well known for music, but then him actually kind of maybe actually even being interested in actually kind of branching out and directing something as well, and actually kind of having a kind of like a trial run maybe of that kind of field. And I think this kind of has done and actually gone so well that it shows that he's actually skilled at that too. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what else comes out of this little corner. So yeah, this being here, I think movies work for some stories, series work for other stories, and in this case, special presentations work for other stories. I think with this one, especially with this one only being an hour long, they told the story they wanted to tell in that time, and I think as of right now, I'm not really kind of sure there's anything else I actually would have wanted them to see, but then I want to see more like this. I think I actually want to see more like a sequel to this, maybe actually like seeing more of Elsa and Jack and Ted in the future. It still feels weird calling him Ted when I know he's mad thing, but still his name is Ted, so I respect that. Still want to see more of them in the future. And I think also I'm using this to introduce other characters and other creatures and other kind of stories as well. So because again, I think maybe like the presentation itself also, because then I think maybe then, like, because like an hour is also like a very decent chunk of time. So an hour, like a lot can happen in an hour, as we saw, and a lot of story can be told in an hour. So then the question kind of like for me comes down to like is the hour what they got once they shortened it down, or is the hour the only thing they actually going to really plan? Because then it feels like it could very easily be the latter. Like maybe they told themselves like, we really don't want this too long. Like an hour is a perfectly kind of like an hour even for like a TV episode is really long and really lengthy, and an hour of a TV show could be really really long. So then with this one being the kind of very standalone kind of thing that it is, an hour seems like an appropriate kind of time used to actually kind of tell the story and everything. So then because of that, it does feel more like I kind of hope that like Marvel kind of doesn't like kind of use this or like overuse this format or overdo it, because then some of the kind of series they've done in the MCU could also kind of be kind of actually better kind of constructed in movies and vice versa. Like I think for me, like Eternals would have worked so much better as like an actual kind of Disney Plus series with all they had going on and with all the people they had in it. But then I think we're gonna get a Wonder movie anyway, so I think that's gonna happen. So I think different things work for different kind of characters and different stories. So I'm just kind of hoping that like they don't kind of use it. I'm hoping they also don't really kind of use this as a way to for finding an easier way out of actually telling like a story either. Like maybe if they think that hoping they don't choose like this to tell like a character story just because it's the easier way, or because they can then kind of tell it in less time or something. So it works, but it works for certain stories and certain characters. So hopefully they actually do realize that and actually use it kind of sparingly and use it accordingly and everything. So it's not just about like actually kind of handing the reins over completely, but actually kind of having trust and having some kind of faith and reliability in the people they hire to do these to do these things. To actually kind of to be able to let them do their own things and then to be able to kind of trust and actually kind of have like a mutual understanding of what needs to happen. So yeah, I think I've not really kind of got many other theories or many other things I really want to say, so I think I've actually kind of crossed off all my notes, and this definitely does feel like it actually warrants like a rewatch and everything in the future. So again, it's a really easy hour to get through and like a very enjoyable hour to get through too. So I think I see no reason that this could warrant a rewatch of any kind. So yeah, if you guys want to tell me what you guys thought of it, then by all means, comments are open. Leave your thoughts down there and let me know what you thought of this and how you feel about Marvel's Studio special presentations in the future as well. So yeah, that was Marvel's Werewolf by Night. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment on what you thought of this presentation and how you feel about future ones and what kind of characters or stories you'd like to see presented by Marvel in the future as well. For those interested, the full-length reaction will be available over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until next time, bye bye for now.